Hi, I'm Dan Thompson, and this is part 3 of my story of Brighton. So when I was in high school, and we got our first band going, this continued on even when I went off to university. We had this group that was doing quite well, so we all shifted the operation to Peterborough, where we two of us or three of us went to Trent University, and another guy went to Sir Sandford Fleming College. And we continued to play regularly all over southern Ontario and parts of northern New York State. When I went to law school, I had to give up the music. But after or partway through law school, I was contacted by some guys in Belleville that I had known, and a couple of them I played with, that were getting together a band that was going to be kind of a different idea, because it wasn't going to be learn a bunch of songs and go play. It was going to be, okay, we've got a recording studio and we've got a lot of original songs that we're going to record. So that's how Brightwood Rocker got started. It's 1977, and we worked away in the studio for a couple of years, basically just a couple nights a week, until we got to the point where we put out a record, and then we decided, well, I guess we better learn these songs and go play. And a guy actually hired us to do a show at the Regent Theatre in Picton. So that was the very first public performance of Brightwood Rocker at the Regent Theatre in Picton. And then once we'd learned all these songs, then we got a hold of our old agent and started getting bookings. And so that would be in the late 70s and early 80s. The record that we made ourselves and put out resulted in getting a record contract with a company in Toronto. And we had a bunch of new songs, so they agreed to send us to Florida. And in Miami, Florida, there's a famous recording studio called Criteria, which was basically where the Bee Gees made Saturday Night Fever, where Layla, Derek and the Dominoes, Eric Clapton and Duane Allman recorded the famous song Layla. There's a lot of famous recordings were done in that studio, so we were kind of a bit awed by being there. And then when that album was released, it did really well in Europe, Scandinavia, Germany, and Netherlands. But we were kind of still all working at other jobs, and so we didn't go over there like I guess we probably should have. And the result was eventually things kind of fizzled out, and we took a hiatus, I guess you would call it, until one time, a few years later, the Brighton Lions Club asked if we would perform for Applefest. So, okay, I guess we it was like the Blues Brothers getting the band back together, and we did it. And then we decided, hey, maybe we can keep this band going, but we don't have to play every week. We don't have to have the 3-man road crew and all bunch of roadies and overhead. We'll just play select engagements, and that's what we've basically done since then. We try to focus on community events or fundraisers. So we've performed for Belleville Hospital Foundation, Trenton Hospital Foundation, Big Brothers and Sisters, Rotary Club, a number of charitable organizations we've performed for, and that's kind of the way we like to keep it going. And one of our favorite ones has been the Brighton Street Dance, which there's a photograph of my grandfather and Mr. Phillips, Harry Phillips, standing in front of the office. But in the window is a poster. You could read it, and it's advertising a street dance. It doesn't say the year, but it's in the 40s sometime. And the date is August 17th. So we always got a kick out of the idea of reviving the street dance, which credit goes to the Downtown Business Improvement Association, actually, that got that going again. But yeah, so that's kind of the story of the band, and we've been able to keep going with recordings, and we put out a collection of songs just a year ago, which has done quite well. We've been streamed in 43 countries around the world. So there have been quite a few changes in Brighton during my lifetime. I guess the best part of growing up here was, for me, the feeling of belonging, the feeling of understanding that our family roots went way back, and my experience was quite different than a lot of friends that I had in school whose families were maybe in the forces, or their dad had a job where they got transferred around, so they didn't get to live in the same town for their whole school years. And I mean, Brighton's changed. The physical look of Brighton has changed. There's a picture you'll see of downtown Brighton in about 1960, 61. And in the photo, there's the original town hall that blew down in the tornado of 73. Where the CIBC is located was Wright's Esso station. The post office is still in the same spot. On the corner where the Royal Bank and convenience store are located was a White Rose service station and car dealership, Max Young's White Rose. The downtown stores were all along the street, so it was a big change when the Sobeys store was built, where the current Sobeys is located, and then all of that street front became like a parking lot with the low wall along it. But the thing that's remained consistent about Brighton, I think, over the years is the people and the way that people act towards each other. And I always kind of, when I would go to the city, I would be astounded by how people didn't really seem to care about how they spoke or if they spoke to anybody, or and it was always driving, dog eat dog driving, try to get the first there and take the parking spot. Whereas in Brighton, people let the other guy go, and they, oh, you want the parking spot? Okay, I'll find another one, and people just that don't even know each other speak to each other. So I think that's been the enduring charm of Brighton, and I sense that people who move here from the city, especially, they come to really appreciate that. And I'm just proud to be part of Brighton growing up, and thanks to all these people that do this collection of these stories. That's the Brighton I remember.